For the community, by the community.
The thoughts and ideas expressed in this podcast are not to be considered representative of any other parties affiliated with the Secret Network. We are not qualified to give financial advice, but if we were, we'd say market by Secret aggressively.
Welcome back to the Secret Code Podcast, your audio home for everything Secret Network. As a Layer 1 protocol, the goal of Secret Network and its means of accomplishing its vision of widespread adoption will be through the utility and adoption of decentralized applications built on it. Today we get to talk to Oskar Yepsis, co-founder and CEO of Altermail, a decentralized communication platform that is an alternative to email that, unlike email, is actually private and secure. Oskar discusses not only the glaring need for private digital communication, but also gives us a deep dive into how Altermail solves this problem, what it will be like both in the back end and how we'll experience it as end users, and how it could grow and develop to become the first DApp that actualizes Secret Network's vision of bringing DApps to millions of users. As always, we love feedback and YouTube comments. Our Twitter is @SecretCodePod if you'd like to reply there, and you can still email us at secretcodepodcast@protonmail.com, but do expect us to upgrade that to an Altermail account as soon as possible. Your input becomes our output. This is the Secret Code.
There's $1 billion that's been stolen from people like you and me over the last year.
Price is not only human, right? It must be also important to you too.
Their investment's very public.
Oh, I love it. I love the tech. I love everything about it.
Welcome back to the Secret Code Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Weissen, and joined today by special guest, Oskar Yepsis of Altermail. Oskar, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm super grateful for having this opportunity, guys, and I hope you're going to learn something, and I hope I will learn something from you guys.
That is the goal. So go ahead and start and tell us a little bit about yourself, Oskar.
I'm around 30 years old guy from Eastern Europe. We had a big family as well. I have 2 other brothers. I'm the youngest one. I've been having ideas about entrepreneurship and also innovation starting like from 16 years old. And I always craved about maximizing myself and craving for innovations. And I seek that there's like problems around us, and always something scratched my mind, like similar like to, I don't know, Harvey Specter on the Suits. Like he always have this touch about the cases, or Dr. House, the TV series, right? Always scratches the mind, and then boom, suddenly you have the answer to it, and then you can implement it into the life. And I've been living with it always, and I have been maximizing everything that I have. And I have been previously, of course, worked underneath some great companies. Also, I've been into politics when I was super young, and I then switched to finance. I worked for Swedish banks and also in Stockholm as account executive for 37 biggest banks worldwide, and I managed their accounts for Loro services. Loro is like their accounts in our books, just to learn, you know. And then I went to Mintos. It is a peer-to-peer platform where you can invest in already dispersed loans and you can get interest on it. So you can become investor starting from like 10 euros as a minimal investment. And I liked the product and idea, and I started there. I maximized myself as well there, and I became like middle manager there. But then I felt that something is wrong, and also the COVID crisis started, and I saw the opportunity that I need to break out. I need to break out and start my own company and start my own ideas that I create so much for all my life. And then I realized that there is actually an opportunity in terms of communication and also how we share the files and data. I mean, it's how we interact as people, and the digital age, it's never gonna disappear, and it is getting more tighter because of the so-called pandemic and so forth. But overall, this scratched my mind, And then I started to search, all right, but what's the security? Because I had a background in bank. We had like cyber threat events 2 times per year. We got reportings about how we're being attacked, hacked, and etc. It was super interesting. And at the end, I started to learn more, and I started to learn more also about blockchain and crypto. And actually, one of my study mates in university did make a thesis on blockchain, and it was super nice report on that one. And I realized that actually this implementation for everyday use of data sharing communication can be really used in some kind of better way than just the crypto and finance. So yeah, and then actually the accident happened of Gmail. If you remember, in late 2020, there was this incident that for 7 hours, Gmail, YouTube, G Suite, everything was down because of some error. I don't know what, but I mean, it cost like billions of losses for companies on that day because Mintos was also using the so-called G Suite, and we couldn't get any meetings. We couldn't like communicate with each other, either use Slack or WhatsApp. But I mean, we didn't have anyone on the client side there. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that people are so dependent on big corporations. Once they cannot deliver the service, well, you're kind of in a super bad situation. But yeah, this is how I started. And once the Gmail incident happened, I realized that shit, I need to get my things together, get my team, and let's roll some good alternative. At the first, it was just for my own purposes. I wanted to create some solution just for myself.
I admire your ambition. I love the House reference. I was a huge fan of House as a kid.
Yeah.
And your background in finance, making that switch to crypto is absolutely fantastic. A lot of people in finance are skeptical of crypto because they're worried it's going to take their job.
That's correct. I confirm that.
But those who do make the switch are very successful and do very well in it. So good job. That background should help a lot as you continue moving into this industry. And I'm glad that you are actively trying to take down this G Suite monopoly, because the amount of control that big tech has over our lives and over our everyday interactions, whether it's personal or professional, is really scary. So I'm excited that you are starting to build this and starting to challenge it with your own ideas. And the fact that you're building this initially for yourself and then realizing that it works for more users makes me more excited about it, because the best inventions start that way.
Yeah.
If it would be useful for me, it would probably be useful for a lot of other people too. So now that you have moved into crypto, what are your roles within the Secret Network ecosystem? Obviously, you're building Altermail alongside or on Secret Network. Do you have any other connections with them? Is this your first interaction with the Secret Network?
Yeah, actually, this is the first one because I will start like from the beginning that we had a discovery phase of the blockchain technologies out there, but more specifically, which blockchain providers have this privacy security layer more towards the user side. And we identified like Pirate Chain, ZK Knox they're using. Then we have Monero, of course, and then it's Secret Network as well. And actually, those were the cases that we loved the most. And we started to actually analyze like what will be the so-called development. Is it will be like integration also easier, or what about the gas fees, etc. I mean, all those questions we need to take into consideration before choosing actually the partner. And because we don't want to build our own, because it will take a lot of time as well. And there's also, you need to build this credibility on your so-called blockchain stack. And that takes a lot of time. So it's not an option for us. And we saw that Secret Network not only that provides all the answers that are most appropriate for us to confirm for our technological stack, but also as a good partner, since they are so open and also supportive about new decentralized applications coming in. And also the so-called discovery calls with them were super nice, and people are really interested on what we are trying to accomplish with this. And that's why we use Secret Network as and I think that will be the first, but I mean, we are seeing actually a broad overlay of other projects that Ultima can be used. So far, we have gathered and invited to 3 other decentralized applications where the communication is needed as part of their journey for their users.
That's awesome. And your project's goal certainly matches the ethos of Secret Network. So it does seem like a match made in heaven. And I admire that you guys didn't go out and try to just build your own blockchain. I've seen a lot of products doing that, which is what makes this time reminiscent of the dot-com bubble to me, because projects that don't need their own blockchains are building their own blockchain so they can have the word blockchain in it. When blockchain will be useful for your guys' application, absolutely, but not every single application needs their own blockchain.
Yeah, that's true. I completely agree with that.
A little bit more about yourself before we get more into the technicalities of Altermail, which is the platform you're building. What are some non-generic traits about yourself that you feel you'd want described to your great-great-grandchildren, something that could connect the audience directly to you?
Yeah, I would say I'm a adventurous guy, and I like always the journey. And I see that if there's a great opportunity, I will take it and I will break it down into pieces and accomplish in any way how. And that's why I would also explain that I'm a fearless anarchist, and I like to challenge myself and get into such big challenges and decide about them. And I'm fearless also about talking to people. So I met very powerful people as well in my life, and I'm not actually afraid of speaking with them. I mean, they're just the same person. I mean, either it's the president, either it's the prime minister, either it's the central bank president. I mean, I actually don't care as much about their accomplishments in their life. Of course, it's great that they have reached to that step, but we're still the same level. You are human, I'm human. Let's interact, you know.
When I was a kid, everybody thought I was super arrogant because I talked to adults like they were my peers. And now I'm an adult. I talk to kids like they're my peers because everybody has one soul. And when I was like 5, and people were like, hey, you need to treat me with respect because I'm your elder. I'm like, I'm probably a smarter and better 5-year-old than you were at that point in your life.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand some people just put people on pedestals and then just use that opportunity as a way to talk down to everybody that they feel is beneath them. And it's dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, my family also thinks that I'm such a big ego in our family, but I mean, well, life has shown something else, you know. But also about fearless. I mean, I did start snowboarding from zero, and I did without instructor, so I took a snowboard and just went up the hill like 10 meters and then just slide a bit. And of course, I got injured myself as well. But at the same night, I managed to get my ass up on the hill and get down on the snowboard the first time in my life with my own effort. And that was really enjoyable, even though it was only 2 times from the top of the hill. I managed to get down, but of course, I slipped and everything else. And yeah, but I mean that's the journey. And then last year I really was keen on learning snowboarding. And then I got my instructor, and of course, first day with the instructor, and then the next attempts and times that I visited the hill was super nice, and I was really glad, and I achieved that. And I think like in any kind of new thing that you start in life, you're like a rookie, you're like a baby, and you'll fail, but that's okay. Just be persistent and go ahead with it. And yeah,
Absolutely. That's awesome, dude.
and also dependable. I mean, when I start to work in either role or project, I mean, I'll be persistent, and I can do any job. I think I have nailed all the jobs and got the maximum outfit. Although all those promotions or recognitions or achievements, they follow it, of course, but you always need to be the person to grind, you know. And that's it. Keep at your desk, and then you look up, and then you see like, okay, good achievement, yeah, but let's continue grinding. So
Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about privacy and why it's important in the email game and in sending attachments and in communication, and how you guys are going to be able to achieve that?
I think privacy is something that we have really forgotten within time, and people really don't realize that they have actually given their privacy for free in order for others, like really small group, to benefit of it and get the data about you and use it in a lot of ways. And I think that's the most saddest thing that people don't realize. in this digital age. And where the privacy stands is that, well, it is the key role of unlocking the full value actually of the so-called also this decentralized future, right? What we are having now, with what we're trying to reach with also the secret network, because privacy is not only human right, it must be also important utility. And also without the privacy, users and companies are actually in danger of damaging their social life, finances, and also control of your data and control of your identity. And in that perspective, when you look at the privacy, then it's supposed to be actually digital privacy equals to your physical privacy. That should be the standard. But do you see it as a standard? Not really. Not anymore. Now it's if you ask a random Joe on the street, what do you think about your privacy? I don't care. Like, I don't have nothing to be afraid of and I have no secrets. All right, but at the end of the day, you're still sharing all of your data. But the biggest interesting fact that even though you as a one person doesn't mean anything to them, but as a group of persons or a society, you're getting all the data of the society and you can know what the society thinks, what they want to have in their lives, what they don't like, what they are sharing, what they're buying, what they're trying to manipulate each other or just sharing information. They know the so-called intelligence of the pool. If you know all those perspectives, you can use that either to manipulate the politics, use it for economical reasons, use it as a bullshit reason, as Apple used now for kind of we are fighting pedophiles, and that's why you're going to access all your phone data. Oh, wait, but then I'm treated like I'm a potential pedophile. Then what's the reason actually behind it? And I like the Snowden, what he tweeted about it, and I like what other people are saying about it, that is completely bullshit reason and everybody knows it, but no one cares. And that's something that scratches my mind. Like, really, we cannot take these big corporate companies and somehow limit them? Well, why we cannot limit them is that we are actually sponsoring them with our wallets. We are buying the products. That's why they have the power and dictatorship, so called.
I've followed the whole story with Apple. I've actually followed the Edward Snowden tweets about it. That's how I first was made aware of that story. And I'm glad that people are starting to take notice. And a lot of it is because of voices like Edward Snowden. But it's absolutely scary. And these companies are so big that end users don't think there's anything that they can do against them. Even class action lawsuits are barely a slap on the wrist. And it really is scary because privacy has such a negative connotation and people are like, well, I don't have anything to hide, but they do. Everybody has something to hide. You don't tell everybody your social security number. You don't put your credit card number on your forehead. Like, you don't put that on your Twitter homepage. Why? Because you don't want everybody stealing your money. Like, everybody has something to hide, and the idea of having to use privacy only if you are a pedophile is stupid because because everything should be private by default. You should have autonomy. You should have agency over your digital and physical self. Obviously, I'm involved in the secret network. I firmly believe and agree with this, but it can get so infuriating sometimes dealing with people like, well, I want pedophiles to be stopped, so I don't mind Apple having my issue.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you want them to just direct withdrawal your phone bill now? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I would ask to those people who fight for this so-called open data, I would ask them, please then share your ID card with me. Please give me your ID card, give me your bank card. Trust me, I will not do anything with it. Yeah, it's the same.
who are you trusting with this data? The Apple company, who are they selling it to? $2 trillion per day worth of personal data is sold. It's the number one asset class in the world. And people just still really don't realize how valuable they are just with the data of them scrolling on TikTok or whatever it is.
Yeah, and from Ukrainian hackers you can get for 5 USD and an identity, by the way, for 5 USD. $5 only worth of your identity because the data is so easily accessible now, and that's why the price tag is down. And that's why it's more and more easier to get the data that you need on your competitor, on your neighbor, on your person that you want to blackmail or anything else. I mean, and the most important fact that people don't even know that they're being hacked or the data is being leaked. You don't even know because you have no possibility of checking that fact. And that's the most, I don't know, it just scratches my mind that we are in such a crazy situation now that we need to change somehow, at least save some group of people worldwide to switch the solutions and go into alternatives.
So when did you get involved in cryptocurrency?
It was actually in time of university, so in 2012 and 2013 I was then buying Litecoin. That was the first one, and then it was Bitcoin, of course, and that was the first time I interacted with crypto. And at that time the Litecoin went up for huge amounts and I bought it. At that time I didn't know nothing about it. And then the price dropped. I was like, holy shit.
Everybody's gonna get through that first bear market,
Oh yeah.
but the longer you're in, the better you do. So
Oh yeah. But yeah, it was super interesting for me because there was also some friends of mine, and then they contacted me. Hey, do you want to join this group? You're gonna get some huge revenues from it. Just send me your funds to me, and I'll manage it, and you'll get returns. I was like, okay. But yeah, pretty interesting times at the start, and yeah, it was crazy. It was Wild West, I think, at the start of the crypto. And actually, maybe those scammers kind of did influence the so-called character of the cryptocurrency and like what's the purpose of it. But the most interesting thing is that a lot of politicians, a lot of people at power, and also corporates who are in the top management, they're not speaking about systems that they're using. Many big corporates and also governments are using blockchain starting from 2012 to 2014. Estonia, their whole system is based on blockchain. I didn't know that. No one knew that. And that's why it is kind of interesting that someone is not speaking out loudly about all these cases that blockchain was actually used and how it kind of gave the data immutability, also the security, and also the not possibility to lose the data, and also no one can access it. I mean, and that's the use case that someone needs also to talk about the higher level.
all right, I think we're ready. Can you give us a deep dive into how Altermail works and what exactly it's going to provide and offer?
Yeah, so in terms like user interface, people will have the possibility to send, receive messages, and also attach the files. And within time, we will be adding also additional features. I will talk about them a bit later. And basically, behind the Altermail is that we're using encryption, not RSA, but elliptic curve. So none of your applications that you're currently using, they're not using elliptic curve as encryption model because elliptic curve is more efficient when you compare with RSA, and it is more stronger when you use those keys. And it's kind of like anonymous key agreement protocol as well that, of course, allows you to establish the so-called secret key over an insecure channel. And on top of that, we're using a blockchain, aka the smart contracts. They are private smart contracts because you're using secret network to validate the message, to validate the user that such action was made. So no one can actually change the data, access it, and also have the persistence of the data and message itself. And that is being sent to the other user. And on top of that, of course, we'll have additional features on how we're going to use also private smart contracts from Secret Network is that we'll be storing your private key onto the smart contract that will be only available for you. That is the best way on how you can recover your profile because now two-factor authentications on mobile phone or email, it kind of compromises your identity as well. It already connects you to a person that is using this, either phone number or email. And also the app. I mean, if you download two-factor authentication from Google or Duo Mobile, I mean, you're still connected with your identity there. and we want to have a secret recovery. So that, like, on top of that, that's an additional like feature and something that can be used in any kind of solution easily. We will also have a possibility for users to send secret, and at start we'll have secret, and then it's secret as the coin to send to other users internally in Altermail. Will be integrating with Citadel 1 first, and then Kepler Wallet as the second one, so users can use them and basically interact there as well. By having this option, we are now then giving other decentralized applications like Fardos the opportunity for NFTs to be carried out like this. And I think it's a great use case as well.
That's awesome. We'll be talking to Fartles pretty soon, actually, and I'm really excited about their social media platform that's being built. So you guys are using an elliptic curve model?
Yeah, elliptic curve, yeah.
And so we'll be able to send PDFs, whatever attachments we usually do. We can send video as attachments on these emails?
Yeah.
Okay. And is every email sent an action on the blockchain? Does everything cost gas?
Yeah. So we'll be bundling them up into one so we can decrease the gas fees. Otherwise, if we do persistently upon each message, each generated smart contract will give us huge costs on our side. But hopefully also the so-called upgrade of Secret Network will come in place soon, and also the gas fees will be decreased, and also there will be some options on how to turn a bit around this game. And yeah, hopefully that will have a positive turnout about it. Yeah, actually, Altermail is not an email. So that's the first case, because we cannot actually connect our solution to email protocols. Email protocols by standard are unsafe, and they are not meant to be. I would say email is not anything secure or anything that you should use now, but people are forced to do that because there's no alternative. There's no use case of good alternatives. Yeah, and that's why we want to have this alternative of Altermail.
So this won't just be a private email. This will be a new type of digital messaging.
Yeah, correct.
And you can also send value through cryptocurrencies through this.
So basically, what we're giving out to users, I have seen some solution messaging apps that are based on your wallet. So you're logging in with your wallet and that's it. Nothing else is on there. Plus, it's on a public blockchain, some interesting setup of nodes. You don't even know who runs the nodes and everything else. Really sketchy thing, but we want to be independent also from secret, actually. So that's why you use encryption on it. Just a question. Have you seen an application of messaging that you actually store your private key?
No, I have not.
Well, you'll have now the possibility to do that with Altermail. Because if you use Signal, Telegram, you have this message. We have authenticated your secret conversation with this person, etc. The keys are generated. All right, guys, but who generates them? Do you copy them? Do you store them? Do you have the access to them? I mean, okay, I can do like audit on your code, but I mean, still your production or your setup can be a bit adjusted, and that's it. And you will never know that they're actually storing those keys and they can easily access them. So, and plus the Telegram group chats, they are not encrypted as your individual so-called conversations are. And that's why we'll be actually giving the opportunity for that. You have the channels and groups also encrypted, and onto the blockchain, everything will be. I mean, yeah, that's the alternative. That's a new game. I mean,
every encrypted, allegedly trustless communication service I'm familiar with, you have to trust that it is encrypted. Like I've never had my private key for any comms that I've used. So yeah, this is very exciting. What does the business model look like? And you talked about user interface for the end user. I assume our audience is going to be very interested in using this platform. Are they going to interact directly with the wallet, or is the gas covered behind the scenes and we pay an upfront price?
Yeah, so it is behind the scenes because we realize that in order for this solution to go out globally and to be adopted more, we need to set up everything on backend, and then we offer the so-called additional feature if you want to create a wallet and send funds and use it and start like a guide to your crypto wallet, and I think that will also have the positive effect on attracting new users to Secret Network, or any other way to invite other users to understand what is cryptocurrency and how it's going to be used, and also the blockchain. That's like two values at the same time that we want to raise. Yeah.
So a base user could use this platform without any knowledge of cryptocurrency or how it works.
Yes, of course. Yeah. We have made it so simple that you're using the user interface. It is like the only unordinary thing is that you need to save your private key. And when you log in, you need to provide it. But the thing is, if you insert something wrongly, we will not tell you that it is inserted wrongly, because simply we don't know your key. So, so just relog out and just insert again correctly your key, and that's it. Then you can access your content. And we use zero knowledge proof password for passwords. Yeah.
Very cool.
And we do not track IPs. Only thing that we have is your username.
So behind the scenes, then, you guys are going to have individual wallets for every email address and just top them off?
Yeah, so we'll have the general wallet, and then we'll have so-called wallet that will be like a safe deposit box always for increase of gas fees if needed. Then we have another wallet will be made for managing the so-called newly registered users, what would be the cost for them, and then the ongoing wallet for the so-called gas fees for ongoing messages. And probably our setup will be hopefully easier in the future, and better manageable, and then basically we will have possibly some scaling of that in autumn and winter.
All right. Well, while we're talking about keys and being able to view them, you ready for your viewing key question?
Okay, sure.
Let's look into the viewing key. The question isn't why do you have to make one on Secret Network? The question is why don't you everywhere else? All right. Every guest we have on the podcast, we try to ask them one question from something that we don't associate them with their usage in the Secret Network. So while you are developing an app that's being built on Secret Network, we thought we'd ask you a little something about the infrastructure of the Secret Network itself, and specifically the inflation rate. So, what is the range of inflation for the secret token? Is it A, 2 to 5%, B, 5 to 10%, C, 7 to 15%, or D, 15 to 30%?
I would like to say A, but it's C.
Yes, and it's C, 7 to 15%. Bonus points if you know what the desired bonded rate is.
7.
So the bonded rate would be how many tokens are delegated to the nodes. And so the desired rate is 67%. So as that gets reached, we'll start lowering back to 7% inflation.
Correct. Yes.
Right now, we're just under 51%. So good job staying very informed. I know you're building your own platform that's being built on Secret Network, but you have clearly done your research. A+.
Thanks. A-. I didn't answer your second question.
I've personally always been more of a fan of A- than A+, because when I got an A+ in school, I'm like, I did extra work I didn't need to do. I wasted more time.
Yeah.
My advanced biology teacher pulled me up to class one day. He's like, Eric, you've got a 99% in the class. Imagine if you actually tried. I'm like, I doubt I'd have better than an A+, dude.
Actually, we're also staking a lot from Altermail.
Awesome. As the Launchpad gets built, that's one of the projects I'm really excited about. I've been kind of active in vocalizing how it should be utilized and what liquidity providing pairs should be used. And one of my things was that these platforms, these companies are going to need large amounts of secret and probably are going to stake it themselves. That way they have a replenishing supply, because they're always going to need gas fees for however long they exist in the future. So
correct.
All right, a bit more about Altermail. Can you tell me about your team, who all is building it and what they're doing?
Yeah, so basically we have now 7 people, including me, working on this project. We started off being only 4. Now we have actually invited 3 more, and it's me as for the management, reviewing the product as well a bit, impacting the use case story for the users. I actually love to see the front end and the design. I don't know. If my second choice in career would be, then it will be a designer for sure. So I would go and design stuff and probably anticipate in NFTs. So definitely that would be like my second project. And then of course I managed investment, communications more, and building the personality and credibility of Altermail and be the spokesperson. Then we have the CTO, he's the second co-founder. So we are the two main shareholders now. We are incorporated in Estonia, and he's the lead developer as well. He's been experienced in Java particularly more than 10 years. I would say he's a dedicated man, and he's like, I don't know, I haven't seen such professional in my whole life, and he's working like, I would say like a matrix code, like he can be a machine. I mean, maybe he works like 12, 14 hours every single day. That's for sure. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, I know how he maintains that life. But yeah, super enthusiastic person. And then we have our project manager, Lian, as well. And then we have a lead designer who is helping me to, like, I'm putting the paper on how it should look. And then he's like putting everything as it's supposed to be. Everything is on Figma. We're using Figma, of course. And yeah, he's kind of new, but I mean, he has a great talent, and that's why I use him. But yeah, he's super young, but I mean that skill is pretty nice. And then we have a DevOps as well, and then we are now having a full stack for the blockchain part for smart contracts, and Java developer for the backend, a bit front end, and that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. A nice big team. You mentioned you and the CTO being the top shareholders. So you are incorporated in Estonia. Are you guys creating your own, or do you have any plans to create your own token for Altermail, or are you just going to stick to stock, and are you eventually going to go public?
So we have been speaking with Secret Network about token creation possibly in the future because they have the launchpad, of course. That would be the like topic in the nearest future to discuss.
I'm trying to figure out how we can invest in you guys.
Yeah, so we'll be opening up also either it will be a crowdfunding round, either we're going to launch it probably at the end of September. And we have also contacted some few angel investors as well, that would like to contribute to the project. And definitely we're looking out for investors. So yeah.
Awesome. We want you guys to take off and to completely reshape global communications. The goal initially of Enigma, and that is carried over to Secret, is to provide the platform for decentralized blockchain-based apps to reach millions of people. Are you guys that app?
Of course we are. Not only millions. We want to reach 1 billion at least.
Let's do it, dude. Heck yes.
Actually, we have been offering the service also to companies. So far, we have, without like handful reach, I had some few law firms, and since their service is strictly connected to provide service in exchange of sensitive files and data about their clients, I pitched them. Two of them signed up immediately, like, hell yeah, we're going to use that because firstly, it is competitive advantage over other law firms that they actually present on their website. Hey guys, we're actually thinking about your price and security, and that's why you're going to use Altermail instead of Gmail or any other messaging app that you want to try. But Altermail will be the main communication for us to exchange data and speak about the case or sending the files. I mean, and we have identified multiple other sectors like financial institutions, risk and insurance management. Then it's healthcare as well. Then it's education and real estate. So basically, those are the main fields that we'll be concentrating on.
Will you be able to send NFTs via Altermail?
Not now. We haven't planned that yet. But I like the NFTs, and I think there's a huge hype about it. And let's see how it goes.
Is Altermail already publicly available?
Not yet. So basically, we have an MVP, unstable one, just for the beta testers and for ourselves. Now we are building the architecture to have the stable ecosystem there. And then also we have the secret integration now going on. Once that is set up, we'll be ready to go in 2-3 weeks.
All right, awesome. A couple weeks coming up in September. And do you guys run your own node on the network?
Not currently, but we are actually thinking about it in the future to run our own, yeah, and to help other decentralized apps to have the courage to and not to be scared that your setup might not be stable, and at some point you will outscale the secret network. And we have an idea that we will have specifically the node possibly for dApps to concentrate on for those projects. So, but yeah. And also our next so-called pipeline of the investment is to create our own decentralized service as well.
Nice. Very cool. Have you been using the new community secret API?
Yeah, we will be using it.
Yeah, I know Ian, who's been actively working on that and helped create it, was interested if it's actually being used by the DApps being built and how useful it has been. So I want to throw that in there.
Might be the first one, maybe. I don't know.
All right, so it's coming out in a couple weeks. Has it been audited? What does audits and tests look like for Altermail?
Yeah, so basically we'll have a so-called bounty for hackers to to do their job, and also to report that if something is after the so-called public version is being published and someone sees from the hacker side that something is not quite right, they'll have a channel with us, and also they'll get rewarded for it. But anyways, we don't think that there will be some things that should go wrong, because actually we are just building a platform for users to rock on, and we are not in charge of actually all the data that's like flowing. We're just giving you the so-called programmable, already user interface, easy to use. That's it. So that's, yeah, I like the idea, and that's why we are creating it.
So I'm a man of the cloth. I'm an ordained minister. I have my bachelor's degree in philosophy and theoretically should be a more moral person than most. But I can't help but understand and have my mind go towards marketing opportunities that are less than ethical. I was a big supporter of the idea of just going on Twitter to advertise Secret Network and just theoretically front running people, being like, hey, this address bought this much of this. Like, why do I know that? Because everything's public on Ethereum. Like, hey, this person just bought this NFT. Just arbitrarily, not necessarily doxing names, but wallet addresses, just to show how unpragmatic these public blockchains really are. Do you have any plans on just going and doxing Hillary's emails, or?
Well, it's a secret, you know.
Just putting everything on Wikipedia, like exposing even Proton Mail or...
I actually had an idea, something similar that you mentioned. So not specifically like leaking the so-called docs, but leading like an instruction on how to easily do that, and then basically have some proof on some hacker communities on Discord. So yeah, but actually we are now working on a nice piece of article that will be a mind blower to be shared around. So we will have a explanation on email, end-to-end encryption, PGP, all information gathered about the facts, that how many breaches were there, how many data got leaked, what is the technology, why some two cases of hacking are the most used. And for instance, I mean, I can actually share you that breakdown of email vulnerabilities, and there is so-called vulnerability e-fail. It's called kind of e-fail, yeah. And it kind of comes into mind that they target encrypted emails, and they achieve through peculiarities of encryption standards. And certain vulnerable email clients then are being attacked if you're using end-to-end email encryption with PGP or the protocol. Attackers has already the sample of your encrypted messages, so basically they need only your sample that is easily to receive and get it, and then your client is kind of vulnerable because they're setting up their rendering in HTML and load the so-called remote content. But that's like one of the cases. But the second case is actually that in 2019 June, there was a huge vulnerability found in Outlook, Microsoft Outlook servers, that 57 of all email servers, which allowed hackers to run commands on the server as an admin, and simply an attacker could run any command they wanted, download all the emails, all the attachments, all the data there, And imagine 57%, maybe it's more. And it happened in 2019. No one got sued, nothing happened. And that's the beauty of it, that sometimes when something goes wrong with big tech company solutions like WhatsApp, Gmail, Telegram, or Outlook, everything seems to be fine in the marketing stuff, right? Like, oh yeah, we got blacklead, like 50 follow email says, it's nothing. It's okay, guys. Don't worry about it. Nothing got leaked actually, so it's fine. It's fine. But if some decent small PGP project, like in back in the days, got hacked, then they're completely dumb, destroyed by the media. And that's why like corporations are now living in a fruitful world, because no one will accuse them, no one will fight against them, because it's not possible.
Yeah, there's a disgusting lack of accountability.
And the LinkedIn as well, the recent hack of those accounts and everything. I mean, and then it's being sold on dark web. I mean, just
And is theoretical doxing really less ethical than just not telling people and allowing this to go on behind the scenes and selling all their stuff? So I am very excited for that article that you mentioned. When it's out, I will be actively following it and sharing it. So I'm proud of what you're doing. It is a very worthwhile and needed use case, and I'm glad you guys are doing it well.
thanks.
So I'm excited to be on the front lines of learning about and getting to use this product.
Thank you.
Will this app be siloed on Secret Network, or will it take advantage of Secret's interoperability? Like, will you be able to use other blockchains in the future, not only for sending value, but also other things that get built?
Yeah, actually, so our architecture is built in a way that we can kind of switch on off or add any other like blockchain technology into it. For example, if we want to have a backup version or something else, then we can easily have that, because we have set up in a kind of way that is outside of the whole architecture independent stack. So that means if something happens, hopefully not with Secret, then we can actually switch to something else, and we'll have our so-called contingency plan on our side. So yeah.
There could be a Cardano version, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, come on, man. That's an insult.
Thank you very much for coming on the show and telling us all about this. Do you have any more things you'd like to talk about Altermail, or do you have any questions for us on the show?
Yeah, I mean, do you have guys any interest in hopping onto the project? Because we're super open to anyone who is listening or you guys to contribute to the project. And definitely we're gonna find a role. Similar like Secret Network has their secret agents. We want to have also similar community members that are coming up front and actually would want to be part of this project, because we really want to take over this solution and really bring and shine the vault and to the user that there's actually an alternative, and also to present the so-called idea that no message is actually secure, because every message you send online can be leaked, hacked, or accessed by third parties without your knowing. So yeah.
We would love to get involved any way that we can help, in any way that you would let us. We would love to beta test. We've already been taking parts in the survey. I'm already on the Discord. You guys set up your own Discord server. So I'm excited about the project, and I would absolutely love to help.
Great, thank you. And also, question to you: how do you see yourself, so-called messaging apps? I mean, where you stand with the messaging apps when you compare Altermail with other messaging apps? Will it be something that can be breakthrough, or it will not give the possibility for users to make the switch? I mean, what you think, what will bring a value for most of the users that are using, I don't know, Gmail, Protamail, Telegram, Signal to switch to Altermail? What do you think? What's the one thing that really blows other users in order to start using Altermail?
I think it's going to have to be awareness of the lack of security of the current platforms, especially for what I use the messaging apps or whatnot the most for is for work, like for working with Secret Network, for being in the telegrams and the group chats. And if there's capability for large group chats to take place in Altermail eventually, I'm sure we'd make that switch. Like anything done in Discord or Telegram, if it could be done in a more private and secure way, the Secret Network obviously would make that switch. It's just definitely going to be usability and how easy it is to move group conversations.
Mm. Yeah.
But I really like that you guys are marketing specifically towards companies. I think that will be the easiest sell to get the most users. And as people see larger companies start using your service because they understand the risk, it'll be easier to get end users to do it personally as well.
Yep. Thank you so much. I'm thinking the same thing. I need a lot of people to verify it sometimes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Great.
The more input, the better.
Yeah.
How can people reach you and how can they learn about Altermail for the audience? Like, do you have a Twitter?
Yeah, we have Twitter. Definitely follow us. Yeah, you can search Altermail on Twitter. You can join our Discord channel as well. Actually, we're going to also launch a new website prior to the launch of the public version. So it will be a nice, sweet website. And also, we're thinking about branding, and we might rebrand a bit of Altermail. And we are thinking about creating the so-called group brand called Alter, and then basically we'll have additional features that will be adding like Alter Mail, Alter Pay, or Alter Wallet, or Alter NFTs. I mean, everything that you can imagine, because we are thinking actually about not only having the messaging, but of course to make calls and files, have the cryptocurrency there, stable coins and NFTs in a private and safe way. And in future, I know it can be something more again that will only the future will tell where we're going to lead.
The use cases for this can absolutely be much, much more than just email provision. So that's not a bad idea at all. I will include your website and applicable social media handles and everything in the podcast episode description so that any audience, if you guys are trying to learn more about Altermail, if you want to reach out and get a hold of Oskar, you can click the link. You could click the handle in the tweet and read up on them. And we'll share more articles about Altermail as they come out. And we are excited for the product launching in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Oskar. We appreciate having you on the show, man. I'm really excited for everything you're building.
Thank you. The last quote, there's an illusion of security and privacy, and we need to clear that.
Thank you for deciphering the secret code. For the community, by the community. New episodes every Sunday. Secret Sunday. I love DApps. I love AMMs. Obviously, you guys are familiar with Secret Swap. I actually just got ratified as a co-lead for the Secret Swap committee, which I'm super excited about. But did you guys know that there's another AMM that's going to be releasing mainnet soon? One with potentially a lending platform, fiat on-ramp, and launchpad? Stay tuned for next week's episode.